Hey everybody, Midnight Asshole here. Welcome back to Renegade Platinum. Alright, so you might have seen a little bit of a montage at the beginning of this episode, or you might not have, depending on if I decide to, depending on how what future me decides to do. So, anyways, if I didn't put the montage in, or if you chose not to watch, here's what the team looks like right now. Looks pretty different, huh? Vincent isn't here. Verde isn't here. And Vincent isn't here. Verde isn't here. Miru isn't here. Meditate Charmeleon are here now. And Haunter is still here, and Bagon is in the back. So you might be wondering what's up. Well, I did some grinding. And I did some things. So this was the part of the series where things are going to get a bit interesting. And here's what's going to happen from here on out for the rest of Renegade Platinum. So basically now that I have access to Pokemon Trainee in the daycare, I can build whatever team I want, whenever I want, as long as I have the Pokemon to do so. But I'm going to try and keep some continuity going on here. So, what I'm going to do is that there are going to be at least 3 Pokemon that are going to be... There's going to be at least 3 Pokemon that are going to be mainstay... There are going to be at least 2 Pokemon that are going to be mainstays on my team no matter what happens during the run. And the other 4 slots will be... Sammy will be rotating depending on what area we're going to next. And I'll try to keep using different Pokemon and not use this. And I'll try to use some different Pokemon from time to time and try to not have completely stacked teams against like the next gym leader or anything like that. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say regarding that. So here, the way that things are going to work now is that I'll always have one of the available starters on my team, and I'll always have an evolution on my team. Those are the 2 slots that are going to be consistent. There will always be an evolution, and there will always be a starter Pokemon, even when we get to the Elite Four and Champion, whenever that is. The other 4 slots will be rotated in and out from time to time, whenever I either feel like it, or if a Pokemon's underperforming, or if I just feel like adding something new, adding a different Pokemon in. So, for now, this is what I'm running with. Haunter is staying around because I didn't really get to use Haunter in the Fantina fight. Meditate is here because it's a freaking shiny. I am not going to pass up the opportunity to use this. And I absolutely am going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am absolutely using this when it comes to fighting Byron later on. I am not passing up the opportunity to use a shiny. And this is definitely something I want to use. Bagon is here because Bagon's here because baggage. Steven is still here because he's very good and he's kind of my tank of the team. I thought about having a constant tanky Pokemon on my team, but I decided that would be a bit difficult for me to do from time to time. So I'm gonna just leave the 4 other slots free and just keep swapping Pokemon in and out whenever it's time to do so. But anyways, now with that aside, I also did some EV training with Pokemon Trainee, so that way some Pokemon have better stats. I did special attack training with Charmeleon because I want my Charmeleon to be a special attacker, my Charizard to be special, not physical. And I trained Meditite up with a little bit of attack EVs and a lot of speed EVs. It's already got an adamant nature. So my main goal now is to make sure that it's going to be fast. I want this thing is already going to hit hard because of its nature. I just want it to be as fast as possible. Bagon hasn't done any training yet. I honestly I might replace this Bagon with something with a different one later that has a better nature or something. But for now that's not really possible because of one main thing. You may have noticed earlier. You may have noticed. I'm gonna start. You may have noticed earlier that You may have noticed earlier, but on the bottom screen, there is Eevee and oh. Okay. Well, to quickly explain, there are two Eevees in the bottom of your screen in the daycare. It took me, no joke, with speed up, 15 minutes to find one female Eevee. And this was after me trying to find a bunch of Eevees a bunch of male Eevees with a good nature for special attack, because because I was thinking about Espeon, or I was thinking Espeon or Espeon, Jolteon, or Vaporeon for the next area. But anyways, that's not the point. Him. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lucian of the Elite. I am Lucian, the psychic type Pokemon. A user of psychic type Pokemon and a member of the Sinnoh Region's Elite Four. The runes are wonderful things, you know. They're like books. They have thoughts of many people recorded inside them. It allows the thoughts of the authors to stretch beyond time and space. Oh, you're a trainer, are you not? Are you training any psychic type Pokemon? If you are, this technology will teach them a powerful move. And we get TM29 Psychic. Yep. You were wondering when you were gonna get that, TM? You get it right now, and you don't need to worry about it. Take care. Perhaps we'll see each other at the Pokemon League someday. And I'll go back inside the ruins. But yeah, as you can see in the bottom screen, I have two Eevee in my party. I have two Eevee in the daycare right now, a male and female one. So whenever they hatch an egg, I will go back and go get them. But I may not even use an evolution, an Espeon for the next gym. There is another Pokemon I'm thinking about using for the gym, because I have used it before in a run, and it actually did very well against the next gym we're going to. So that is something I'm considering. Anyway, Solceon Ruins. You might be wondering, are there any new Pokemon in this area? Simple answer, no. You're only going to run into unknown 100% of the time. There is no new Pokemon here to speak. There are no new Pokemon that are going to be of any note here. The only unknown though does have a minor change. A minor change at least that makes it a little bit useful. I say a little bit because it's not a big change. But yeah, it's interesting. So unknown has some stat changes. It has all of its stats boosted actually. So it's got more HP, more attack. Its attack and special attack actually are 108 now, which is pretty respectable. It's got slightly more defense and special defense, slightly more speed and slightly more HP. So it does have a bit more. It's slightly better. And also, it's also got a 255 catch rate, which is one of the few Pokemon that gets a new catch rate change. So it's easier to catch, and Unknown actually learns a move that isn't hidden power for once. Hallelujah! So, if you're curious about the moves that Unknown can now learn, it can get all the moves that have power in the name. Secret Power, Nature Power, Hidden Power, Cosmic Power, Earth Power, and Ancient Power. So, at least Unknown can do something now. Would I recommend using it? No. Honestly, Unknown is still one of the worst Psychic-type Pokemon to ever be in the game, but I mean, at least if you want to try something, I mean, at least Unknown could technically do something, but it can't even use that Psychic TM we just got, so I don't know what to think. And also, our two Eevees laid an egg, so I'll have to go back and go get that later. Right now, you know why we're in here. There's something that we need to go grab here. There's something that we don't need to grab it, but but there is some things here. Here we go. Solceon Ruins. on the if you take all the correct paths, you'll run into an unknown. You'll run into an unknown. No, that is not the thing. You don't just kill it because memes. Anyways, here. He who desires a wish fulfilled must be the first one who grants 3 wishes. Grant 3 wishes, huh? Now, normally I wouldn't say anything. Normally I would just ignore something like this, but I think now is a good time to mention this. So, if you remember back to earlier when we got when there was that lady in the Pokemon Center in Eternal City who was asking for the TM for Dazzling Gleam, and when we gave her the TM so she could use it on her Clefairy, we heard a weird Pokemon cry. That Pokemon is Jirachi. There are 3 NPCs around the world that if we fulfill what they ask for and grant them their wish, you come back here, Jirachi, and check the sign, Jirachi will then you'll then be able to encounter Jirachi in the wild and catch it. Again, this is something that you wouldn't, unless you knew beforehand about this. This is when you would probably figure it out. Of course, the 3 wishes thing is a reference to Jirachi because it's got the 3 charms on its head. Anyway, right here, TM04 Calm Mind, a very good TM for any psychic type you get. The Odd Incense, which is used to breed, which is used to get Mine Junior, and it also is a good move for any psychic. HMO5 Defog, which is borderline useless in this game, in this ROM hack, and a Nugget because why the hell not? So yeah, some decent items right there. Some decent items for making the trek down here. You don't need to go. I don't think it's required to go down there at any point. But there's something else you can do aside from getting Jirachi. At least now you can get Jirachi down there if you complete all the events. Also, this guy is still here. If you get the default TM and come back and then talk to him, he'll give us an item. Instead of a shard, he'll give us a Choice Scarf now. Which the Choice Scarf will lock you into 1 move only, it'll boost your speed in the process. And that item is something that is related to another Pokemon that we're gonna get, that I want to pick up at some point. But we'll have to wait a little bit to do that, cause next thing on our list is the Lost Tower, which is up there. Also, TM47 Steel Wing is here. But before we deal with the Lost Tower, 2 things. 1, I'm gonna pick up that Eevee egg. I'm gonna pick up this Eevee egg here, and hopefully it'll be a good nature when it hatches. But anyways, we're gonna pick up the egg, and I'm gonna do a little bit of biking around, I'm not gonna go. Is there any trainers in the way? Yeah, there are 2 trainers in the way. This is Route 210 up here. We're not gonna be going We're not gonna be going all the way down Route 210 right now. It's just that this is the longest stretch of this. Is that once you beat these 2 trainers, it's the longest stretch that you can. It's the longest stretch where you can hold up or down for biking in the game, aside from maybe the cycling path on Route 206. So basically, I'm coming here just so that way I can hatch the egg faster. But anyways, while we're doing this fight, I guess I can quickly go over the encounters on Route 209 that I skipped last episode. Starting things off with the new Pokemon, Glammeow. Do you even remember this thing existing? I know I say that a lot, but seriously, do you remember this? Do you even remember this thing if you never played Platinum? If you never played Gen 4? This thing this thing never shows up like anywhere in the series, and I don't really know why. It's like, it's not, Glameow and Purugly aren't terrible Pokemon, it's just that they never show up anywhere. They never show up anywhere for you to catch one, which is so confusing. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. What do you get when you catch a Glameow or when you catch a Glameow? Well, you get something. You get a bit of a physical. You get a bit of a Pokemon that's trying to be a physical sweeper, but can't quite pull it off. The speed is good. The speed on these Pokemon are really good. 90 and 115 base speed for Glameow and Purugly respectively. And it gets some good moves. In this game, in Renegade Platinum. Fake out, slash, knock off, play rough, sucker punch, last resort if you want to go with last resort if you want to be that guy who does fake out last resort, which can be a viable strategy if you want to go with it. Yeah, it gets some really good moves, but again, this thing never shows up like anywhere outside of Sinnoh for some reason. Like, do you remember seeing a Glameow anywhere? I mean, the only game I can think of that Glameow even shows up in is in Kalos, I think. I think it shows up in Kalos, but even then, I think it's really rare to run into one or a Purugly. But anyway, Glameow and Purugly just fall short of being that good physical sweeper, normal physical sweeper. We already have access. We already have access to catch Zangoose on the right before our home city. So it's like, why? So it's like, at that point, why would you go for Purugly? And maybe the moves seem interesting. Maybe you want to do the fake out last resort strategy, and you didn't feel like using Ambipom to do that for some reason. I don't know. And anyway, this line could be interesting, but just falls short of what it should do. Anyways, that aside, next Pokemon on the list. Next Pokemon on the list that I don't think we haven't run into is Vulpix. Were you wondering when this thing was gonna show up? Well, guess what? Now you get it. Now you get Vulpix. So, Vulpix, compatible TM53 Energy Ball like it is in later games. Thank you. Also, Steven's trying to learn Flash Cannon here. I am not learning that because Steven is not a special attacker in the slightest. You could go with special attacking Metagross. We just got Psychic, and we have Flash Cannon, and we have access to the breed, and we know where you can find more Beldum if you ever want to catch another one. So yeah, technically you could go special attack Metagross, but anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to Vulpix. If you're gonna get Vulpix, both of its abilities could work really well in certain situations. Drought is really good if you have a lot of fire moves on your team or a Pokemon that can benefit with the sun, i.e. Solar Beam or Chlorophyll. And Flash Fire is actually good. If you have a Pokemon that is weak to fire. So you could use it as a bait and switch. You could bait if you know your opponent's going to have a fire move, you could bait them in. You could try and bait them with a grass Pokemon or a bug Pokemon or something, and bait them into using a fire move while you swap into Vulpix or Ninetales, so you get the Flash Fire boost, and then you can just destroy them with your own flamethrower. Or if you were going with a Drought route, you can just shut down any water. You can shut down water types. You can just shut down water types and just spam Solar Beam. In fact, we should be getting. In fact, I think we already have access to Solar Beam. If not, we'll be getting access to it very soon. So don't worry about that. Aside from that, Ninetales got a bit of a boost. It is ever so slightly faster with its base speed, and that's really it. It's slightly faster now, so it might be able to outspeed a few more things, but everything else on its stats are still the same. But Ninetales specifically gets a few new toys to play with. It gets TM29 Psychic, TM30 Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, which we already mentioned with Vulpix, and Dazzling Gleam, TM85. And Ninetales got one other nice little trick. Or two, actually. It gets Moon Blast, and it's Fire Fairy. Yep, you heard me correct. Fire and Fairy type. Ninetales. So not only did it get a slight boost to its speed, making it more likely that it could sweep Pokemon, especially if you give it Nasty Plot, which it learns at level 1 as a Ninetales, but it also has got quite a few new toys and a new type to play with in its arsenal. So if you were a fan of Ninetales back in the day, then congratulations. Your fangirling over Ninetales has paid off, and you'll have some new toys to play with your with a veteran Pokemon. But anyways, that is next up on the list. I'm going through these very slowly, but anyway, next up on the list, it's a Pokemon that we should all know and love, Bonsly. If it weren't for Sudowoodo and Heart Gold in the Gen 2 games blocking the way, would you even remember this line existing? This joke is going to get old very soon, but I'm gonna keep doing this joke, damn it. I mean, seriously though, no one remembers Bonsly exist. No one remembers Bonsly existing, unless I guess you watched my Dry Bread's video beating Pokemon with beating Platinum with baby Pokemon and saw him use a Bonsly there. But seriously though, Bonsly never gets remembered, and Sudowoodo gets forgotten quite. Sudowoodo's only remembered if you played the Gen 2 games. Also, Haunter's evolving, so that is nice. Gonna get a Gengar. We already have Gengar, but the one that I caught back in the old Chateau had a crap nature, so I went with this one. So now we have a Gengar on my team. First time I remember using a Gengar on my team in any game ever. Or at least when I actually had any part of the story to do. But anyways, that aside, the Bonsly line. Only interesting things to note. Only interesting things to know with Bonsly itself is that its stats are slightly better, but their stats are slightly better, but that's really it. It gets Mimic at level 18, by the way, which is something that which is what you need to evolve the thing, and since Bonsly is here, its counterpart is also here. Mime Jr. is here as well. It gets Mimic at level 18 as well. Unlike with Bonsly, Mime Jr. stats, while still not great by baby Pokemon standards, it gets Filter and Technician as abilities now, so you can be a bit more creative with its abilities now, and also yes, it gets its Fairy typing in this game. If you're curious, Mime Jr. does get Psybeam at level 21, but we just learned the Psychic team. We just got the Psychic team for free, so kind of a pointless thing. Kind of pointless now that you think about it. But hey. And hey, if you didn't go over there, then Psybeam was right there. Also, you got Reflected Light Screen level 24. At level 24, if you want to get those right now. But anyways, about their adult form, their adult forms are interesting, to say the least. Their adult forms are interesting. So starting off with Sudowoodo here, not really a whole lot. It's kind of interesting. It's a little interesting, I'll say that. Its base attack got boosted, its base attack got boosted, its defense got boosted. It's still slow as hell, but it's got a bit of a niche. It's a decent physical tank, and it can deal out damage as well. It's gonna be slow and never going to outspeed anything, but hey, it's pretty decent. It's still gonna be really decent, and can make work of the moves it's got. It's got moves like Wood Hammer. It's got Low Kick, you can give it moves like you could try rollout, you could try give rollout a shot, rock slide, walk, counter, sucker punch, double edge even, stone edge, hammer arm, head smash. I mean, geez, this thing has one heck of a decent move set here. It's just that it doesn't get remembered a lot and people forget about it. But either way. Also, ouch, that crits. Anyways, that side, back to Mr. Mime. Back over to its counterpart again, Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is also pretty interesting from the aspect of what it is. So, Mr. Mime also gets filter and soundproof for its ability, which is pretty nice. It's got slightly more base special attack now, and it's slightly faster as well. So could be more suited to try being a special sweeper now, if you can make it work. It's some pretty decent moves. Again, it should evolve at level 18 from Mime Jr. because Mimic, and it'll get some interesting moves like Dazzling Gleam. It gets Psychic on its own at level 33, if you want to save one of those TMs. It gets Nasty Plot at 39, and that's pretty much it. But it still gets some pretty good, solid moves to work with. So there you go. The other, and the next Pokemon on the list is well. First, we're gonna have an egg hatch. First, we're gonna have an egg hatch, though. Hello, Eevee. Hello, Eevee. Welcome to the world. No, I'm not gonna give it a nickname right now. There is another egg, but I'm gonna ignore that for the time being. This Eevee, Naughty Nature. I mean, it's better. Not the best nature, but it's better than the ones I've gotten that had. I got 3 Eevees in a row that had Brave Nature, for whatever reason. All 3 had Brave Nature, which wasn't good for the Pokemon I was thinking about evolving it into. But anyways, there you go. We had an egg hatch, so there you go. But anyways, back to 209 again. Back to 209 again. Get all the time with these bios this episode. Snubbull. This thing is actually pretty underrated. I think this thing could be pretty interesting. It's pure fairy type in this game. It gets all 3 elemental fangs for moves. Play Rough as a move, Crunch, Super Fang, Close Combat, and Double Edge. Decent moves all around. It even could be a Dragon Killer as a Grand Bull because it gets Outrage level 54. And it also has Ice Fang as previously stated. The slime doesn't have any stat changes, but again, this is one of those Pokemon that doesn't really need the stat changes to be good. It's got pretty good moves. It's just a little slow. But you can absolutely make this Pokemon work. You just need to build a team that can support it when it's not fast enough to support itself. But anyways, with that out of the way, we now have that out of the way. Next thing to go down would be Meowth, which we already went over actually. Which I think we already went over, but to briefly summarize, Meowth and Persian are supposed to be physical sweepers, but they aren't as good as some of the other Pokemon. Gets some interesting things though, like Pickup and Technician for abilities. Pickup is good if you want to just grab a bunch of free items, and Technician's there if you want to actually use it on your team. So yeah, it does get some interesting things to work with. Hello, you're new. Interesting. Oh, this person gives you a Reaper Cloth. Okay. So if you caught a Duskull, here's the Reaper Cloth. So I thought that person seemed off being there, but anyway, there you go. Reaper Cloth for Duskull. For Dust Noir, to get a Dust Noir if you ever want it. Anyways, that aside, Meowth and Persian, not terrible Pokemon. Persian got Limber for its ability when if Meowth pickup, Persian will have Limber, which can be a decent ability. Persian also got slightly more base attack and special attack, so it can actually work as a mixed attacker if you want to roll with that, because normal types usually learn a lot of TMs that support that playstyle. So it comes down to does Persian learn the moves that you want it to learn for your team, and are you willing to put up with a normal type that doesn't hit the hardest but has the coverage to go far? Let it. Anyways, only other Pokemon to note on the list. Only other Pokemon of note here is Chansey. And perfectly via Poke Radar, by the way, but anyway, Chansey. Do I even need to explain about this thing? This thing is a special tank and nothing else. This thing is a special tank and nothing else. A single physical move, if it gets touched by a physical move, it basically dies, especially if it's a fighting move. But again, we have Trainee right there, so if you really want to, you can set up your Chansey to be the absolute tank on your team. It won't deal a lot of damage at all, but that's what things like Seismic Toss are for, and Toxic. But still, it is a very interesting Pokemon, and also I guess if you want to get more Lucky Eggs, Chansey will be holding them 5% of the time, but you got one for free, so why would you want a second one? Also, we have the XP trainer, so again, why would you need a second Lucky Egg unless you're really desperate for some reason? And anyways, that aside, there are Pokemon in a Honey Tree along this route, which is Staravia, Pidgeotto, Noctowl, Swellow, and Farfetch, all of which we have gone over in one form or another. So there you go, that is Route 209 for you. And with that all said and done, we can roll right into the encounters for Lost Tower since we're here. Shuppet is here. Well, actually, I'll quickly go over the Pokemon that we've already seen before, that are in Lost Tower that we've already seen before. As Bagon is trying to learn Crunch, I will learn that. Anyway, Pokemon that we've already seen in Lost Tower that you can catch here again at just a higher level: Duskull, Golbat, Haunter, Golbat, Haunter, Misdreavus, and Dusclops, and Dusclops are here. Oh, and actually, every Pokemon here is something we've already caught, so never mind. What am I thinking about? Anyway, as in order, I guess, from highest encounter rate to lowest: Shuppet, Duskull, Golbat, Haunter, Murkrow, Misdreavus, Dusclops, and Bayonet. So if you didn't want to train up a Duskull earlier, Dusclops is right here, and via Heart Scale, you can teach it all the elemental punches. Bayonet is kind of like Dusclops, except not as good as attacking in terms of its move pool. And Misdreavus, and if you have a Dust Stone, you can evolve Misdreavus or Murkrow into Mismagius and Honchkrow respectively. So there you go. And in fact, we actually just got the Reaper Claw, so you can evolve the Dusclops into Dusknoir right away if you got one that has a good nature and has the moves that you want. So there you go. Even more benefits to coming in here. Anyways, that aside, let's just power our way up this tower. There's another Duskull. I do want to use Duskull at some point on my team because I love Dusknoir. In my recent playthrough of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I intentionally made a team that had a Dusclops on it, so I could, and it actually did really well with Dusclops on its own and without Dusknoir. So that was really cool. So I want to try using Dusknoir at some point during this series. Mainly because I feel like it should get a chance. Dusknoir gets completely screwed over because of the Eviolite that came in black and white. So this is one of the few times where Dusknoir is legitimately better than Dusclops. So I want to give at least the somewhat forgotten evolution a chance here. At least at some point during this series. But yeah. Now if you were curious as to why I'm going up this tower, you'll find out. Also, if you notice, there's no fog up here. Normally when you come here in Platinum, when you come here Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, there is fog here, and you need to use defog so that way your moves don't miss. Not so anymore. Not so anymore. There is no fog here, so you do not need to worry about that in the slightest. Also, yes, I know I'm speeding up, but well, none of these fights are important. None of these fights are important. I'm just fighting the ones that I want to fight. Oh wait a minute. Oh, that's a Skitty. Whoops. I brain farted. I thought Skitty was a fairy type for some reason. Anyways, there we go. Can I? Hey, Nads. Alright. Alright. Also, for some reason, Charmeleon learns Bite, and I don't know what. And I don't know why it does. Also, here we go. TM61 Will-O-Wisp. A very solid move, actually. If you want to have a Pokemon that's a staller, i.e. Dusclops and Dusknoir, because they're pretty tanky, then that's a good move to have on a Ghost type. Anyway, up here we get the cleanse tag, which is good for getting. Up here we get the cleanse tag, and this person. Oh. Okay, I missed the first part of it, but he said to embody the speed of lightning, the passion of magma, and the compassion of water. The guardian of the sky resurrected them after a great fire raised the brass tower in Ekritik City. You know, there is a legendary artifact that is known as the Rainbow Wing. It's said to sparkle like a rainbow feather from the guardian itself. I'd imagine that the Scar Guardian would be quite attracted to that item. That is a hint towards Ho-Oh, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. If we find the Rainbow Wing, we could potentially summon those Pokemon at a later point. We do not have access to that item at the moment, and we do not have access to that item at the moment, so don't even bother looking. Don't even bother going back to look for it. We have no way to access that item at the current moment, so don't worry about it. But that's really all we needed to do in Lost Tower. I just felt like I should come here and show it's here because we have no other reason to come here. I don't think we really have any other reason to come here after we do that. After you beat all the trainers here, which I didn't, but I'll do that off screen because we've been going for quite a while, and I think I'm gonna end things off here. Although I also am gonna have to check that egg off screen and see what that is, and see if that's what we need. So I might be doing some more Eevee hatching at some point. Also, I never picked up the sign. This is an Oval Stone, so if you ever wanted to evolve Happiny into Happiny, then there you go. Anyways, that all said and done, that is everything that I wanted to show off for this episode. Actually, wait, no. There is one other thing. I almost forgot. There is one other thing. In here. Completely forgot about this guy. If you talk to this guy, he'll request a random Pokemon every single day, and if we bring it to him, he'll give us a heart scale and 3 of a random Pokeball You can do this once per day. And the Pokemon is picked from a random selection that you've already seen before. So, in case of Chimecho, I think what you would need to do is catch Changeling and evolve it. I don't... Actually, wait, no, we have access to Chimecho, so never mind, what am I thinking? I am just all over the place, aren't I? Anyway, I'm gonna put this Eevee in this box because that is where all those Pokemon that I potentially want to use at some point are gonna be. Actually, now I think about it, I should probably move you. And you over here. Also Stella evolved. Also, again, if I didn't show the montage, Stella evolved. I finally was able to evolve Stella. She's got cute charm for her ability, and this is what her stats look like now. And yeah, there you go. So, but anyway, with that aside, I'm gonna do some. I'm probably gonna hatch some EV eggs off between this episode and the next, and I'll get straight up into an evolution of some sort. Which evolution I go with? Well, you'll have to hit that big red button and hit the big red button, and then just stick around to find out what I choose to evolve it into as we progress towards our next gym battle by progressing along Route 210. So, with that, I've been Midnight Epsilon, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.